Okay, so you're ready to hire your first music teacher.
It can often be a very exciting time.
My very first teacher stayed with me for 13 years.
How do you hire your first music teacher and go from just being, a normal music teacher like everyone else, where you kind of have a bit of freedom on your own, but really you just own a job? How do you move past that, start to actually create a business, create jobs for people, and take that first scary step of hiring a teacher? Well, I asked some of the coaches from Builder Music School, who have some of the most cool and epic music schools all across the world, to give me their answer on, hey, how did they hire their first music teacher? What are some of the best proven methods and tips to make sure you get it right and avoid a bunch of mistakes? I'm going to hand it over to them to give them their ideas, and then I'm going to wrap up at the end. I'm going to show you the formula that we created and give it away for free today of what we teach people inside the Builder Music School program. And it's the exact formula on how we grew from not just one teacher, but up to over about 60 staff in my music school of 2,000 students. So we're going to give you all the tips and tricks and everything that you want to know today. Let's get into it, and I hope that at the end of this video you'll be ready to hire your first music teacher and start moving away from being a solo person just owning a job and moving up to owning a business, because that's amazing for you, your freedom, extra income, as well as changing someone's life, giving them a job. So get stuck in, get pen, get paper, and get ready to take furious notes.
Okay, so you're ready to hire your first music teacher. What you want to do is obviously you need to find that teacher first. So what we do is there's all kinds of places that you can put job postings up. Currently, we're using Indeed. So that's one place that we look. In the past, we've used Craigslist. The other place we'll look on our website. We have a link that says if you're interested in working for us, and there's an application or just a form to fill out to contact us. And then, maybe word of mouth. Some people advertise on Facebook, so you could do that as well. So wherever you kind of advertise for jobs in your area is a good place to do it online. There's also, if you have a local college by you or junior college, and they have a music department, you could contact the director of the music department and say, hey, I'm a local music school and hiring, guitar teachers or piano teachers. One, do you have any students in mind that might be a good fit? Or is there a bulletin board that I could put up a flyer? So it's always a good place to start as well. So once you've found your candidates, the way we do our process is we do a Zoom. So they send in their resume. And then if we see that they're qualified, then we set up a Zoom interview with them. We don't want to waste too much time by setting up an in-person, and within the first 5 minutes, this candidate is not a good fit for your studio. And so we set up a Zoom. We've got a questionnaire of things to, ask, whatever is important for you in your studio. If you get a good vibe from the Zoom interview and all the questions are answered to your satisfaction, you're like, great, that sounds great. I want to have you come in for a second round for an in-person interview. We have them come in for an in-person interview where you get to see, a little bit more of their vibe and who they are, and their personality probably, shines a little bit more than on Zoom. And then we have them audition for us. So they'll sit down and play a piece, so they can prepare anything they want to play. Or if there's a specific curriculum you use or method books that you use that you want to make sure that they could, they're qualified to be able to play those, or talented enough to perform that, you can have them sight read on site if you wanted to do that. So we do that. And then once we realize, hey, this is a good fit, we want to bring this teacher on board, then we have them sign a contract. So the contract, you can find some sample contracts in the BAM Squad modules. You'll also need to look at your local state or country laws about independent contractors versus employees. In the United States, that's been a big debate, but now a lot of states are basically, adapting the law that music teachers working for a music studio need to be employees. So you need to check, locally what it looks like for you. There's advantages, disadvantages, and again, in the BAM module has all that good information. The contracts are very similar, actually. Whether you're doing a contractor or an employee, you want to just write out what your hourly fee is going to be, what they're actually contracted to get, what they're getting paid for, what their roles and responsibilities are going to be. I would highly recommend having 2 pay rates. I would recommend having a pay rate for teaching. So when they're actually in with a student or students and teaching, that's one pay rate. That could be, you have to look at what the going rate is, but it's usually a little bit higher than, it's not minimum wage for the most part. And then there's an admin pay rate, and that is about minimum wage. And those are if you want teachers to attend meetings or trainings, if you want to have them come to recitals and you want to pay them to be at a recital, all those things where you want them to be there, any extra stuff that some students is hire teachers to do some social media for them or some other activities, work around the studio, that should be paid at a lower rate, because just for finances, at least for us and a lot of studios that we talk to, you want to make sure that the higher rate for teaching that's where your money is coming in by teaching those lessons. All the other admin stuff that you want them to do for them to be a better teacher or a better employee, that's really helpful, should be paid at that higher rate, because it's more cost than you need to be honest. So I'd have those two rates. And then I have a really good onboarding process. So you're going to walk them through, what is your studio's, if it's just you, what is the vibe that you have? Are you, a professional, serious place? Are you having fun, kid-friendly place? Is there a certain curriculum that you want to use? How do they log their hours? All that stuff you just need to go over with them so they know exactly what's going on. Be really clear about everything. If they have any questions, they can come to you. And then just make sure you observe them in their first couple weeks of teaching. Have them shadow you for some lessons, then maybe lead a lesson while you're watching, and then maybe they'll get their own student or two. And then, 2 or 3 weeks in, sit in on a lesson or watch through a camera, and just make sure they're continuing to do a really good job and continue to give them feedback, especially if they're a new teacher, so they can get better.
How exciting that you are hiring your first music teacher ever. This is a tip that you may not think about until after that teacher is hired, but I would recommend that you create a detailed job description before you even start your application process. This will help you to create a set of expectations that you'll have for that new hire once they are actually hired and in place in your business.
When you are in a hiring season, it can often be a very exciting time because you are committing to broaden your client base, your lessons, share music more. But I understand that it can also be a very stressful time, especially if you are needing to hire quickly. So I want to give you 3 key thoughts that have to do with making sure you get that it's a little less stressful. So the first thing to think about is that you are the only one who can do the job like you do. I know that. Your current students know that. But the thought behind that is that if you are concerned about hiring because what if they don't have the theory background, the technique, or even the years of experience that you know what to do when you're in a particular situation with a young musician or a new student, or even a very advanced student, it's true. They're not going to do it like you. And I need you to embrace that is truly going to be okay. There are lots of different ways to learn, and I want you to be okay with creating space for new teachers to learn how to, and even if it's how to teach like you do. So that's thought number 1, that I don't want you to hold back the hiring time because nobody's like you, because that's just a fact. Nobody's like you. You're probably incredible. You're probably the best that can do it your way. There are others that can do a fantastic job, even if it's not in exactly your way. And it's okay to start training people. Okay, thought number 2 is that there are a lot of sometimes very expensive ways to find employees. I have used one of the online tools, and I've had mixed experiences with it. Some have been great, some have been questionable, but that is just kind of the case when it comes to hiring. So when you are doing it, my best recommendation, I think I've found my best employees by simply talking about it. Talk about it in your community, talk about it with your current families, post on any local job boards, on any local Facebook groups. If you have a local community college or you're in a college town, if you can connect with some of the art-driven groupings or even the teaching credentials, you might find some excellent teachers who are looking for additional work, maybe after school even, that also have music experience. All right, thought number 3 is the training. So within the BAM squad, we actually have a module. It's in our at this point in history, it's in module 4, and it's a program called Teaching Matters. And I ask all of my instructors to go through this module. It is absolute gold. It talks them through planning a lesson. It talks them through scaffolding, adding like layers of information and continuing to build those foundations as we go. There's also a section on working with our neurodivergent friends and what that looks like. And if you can take the time to have them shadow your current instructors, go through the teaching matters, they are going to start to match the feel of what you are hoping to bring to your future musicians. So remember, nobody's like you. You're amazing. I believe it. Go ahead and talk about your hiring needs with a lot of people because they might know of somebody else, and make sure that they are trained successfully in a way that you agree with. And if you do run through that Teaching Matters course and ask them to do the same, it is golden. Hope that helps.
Hiring your first music teacher, such an exciting time, can be a wee bit scary too if you've never hired anybody before. There is a saying that says, hire slow, fire fast. And I fully resonate with hiring slow. I think it is super, super important to not hire out of necessity, but hire because they are the right person for the job. For example, someone could have all the qualifications under the sun, but their personality type or their teaching skill set is not yet developed, and they may actually turn out to be a little bit more work than you need. I think it's really important to be very clear in the role that you are advertising. So define the role really clearly so that the teacher knows exactly what it is that you require from them. And you're also very clear on what you need. Make sure you do your reference checks. Be super, super stringent on, your police vetting, especially if you're working with mostly children. Make sure that they pass all of those checks first. Then I would get them in for an interview, sit down, keep it relatively informal, get to know them as a person, because this is the kind of communication that you're wanting them to have with your community too. So whether they're capable of having a professional, warm conversation is really, really important. Get them in to shadow a lesson, run a lesson, take a look at your teaching space, your teaching resources, make sure that they're fully equipped with the best understanding of what it is that you're actually looking for and what you require. Be very, very clear about your policies, your terms, your conditions, and ensure that everything is in writing and you have them sign a contract first. If possible, always include a trial period so that you do have that out.
Hiring my first music teacher was definitely something that I felt like I kind of got lucky, because my very first teacher stayed with me for 13 years. The reason I hired her wasn't because of her, the degrees or all the different experience that she had, but I saw in her a real passion for kids, and she was really, really relational, and I actually recruited her. And so that would be the first thing that I would really encourage you when you're when you're at that point and you're ready to hire your first teacher. Don't be afraid to just simply look around at the people that you already know, and look for somebody that's very relational, somebody that loves kids. I actually think that's more important than how many degrees they have and all of the teaching and performing experience. So that would be my big encouragement, is you want somebody that's relational. You want somebody that is very engaging when they communicate, because you're going to find that those are the people that will keep their students around for a longer period of time.
All right, hope you've been enjoying some of the advice from the Builder Music School coaches. These guys are amazing. They have hired hundreds of people. They're building successful schools all over the world. So listen to their advice. I'm going to wrap up and give you an idea that comes from our Builder Music School library. You'll find it in Module 6, and it's a full walkthrough on the kind of system that we use to train people to build epic music schools. And so it's come about from building my school from 0 to 2,000 students, and then been the formula that we've taught hundreds of other schools all around the world how to build their successful schools, many of whom you've just seen on screen. And so I'm going to walk you through this. If you want to get access to all of it and everything that's available for free, down below we'll put a link in so you can grab a free trial to come check it out. Module 6 in our library is all dedicated to this idea of building a rock star team around you. The idea of building, hiring your first teacher and, starting to build your team. The key thing is to build a team that's actually passionate about what you're doing. And so the acronym we've chose to use is Patriots. If you've ever met someone that's just acts like a total patriot, they're passionate about, it could be their faith, could be their country, could be their sports team, could be their family, whatever it is, they're just a patriot. They're just so passionate. And so that's what you want in your music school, not in a cult-like way, but great culture, great people, making a difference in the lives of your students. And so how do you do that? You've got to be intentional. So the acronym we use is Patriots. P stands for preparing your HR. You've actually got to prepare all the documents that you need to hire someone. HR stands for human resources. In a bigger company, you would actually have someone who's just dedicated to this, or a whole team of people dedicated to that. But you, as the person that's going to hire the first person, and who knows, it might go bigger and you might have 5 people, 10 people one day, you need to actually prepare those documents, contracts, job descriptions, making sure that you have ticked off the things that you need to do legally so you don't get yourself into trouble. And we have all the checklists, everything that you need, templates exactly to get you sorted with that stuff. So if it feels overwhelming, it's not. Just go to Module 6 and grab everything. And everything that I'm going to walk you through you can have as well. A for Patriot stands for admin support. As you grow, you're going to need to think, is it actually a teacher I need to hire first, or is it an administrator? Because you can probably pay an administrator a lot lower than a teacher, and so you could get all that work off your plate. Maybe you can teach a bit more, or maybe it's the other way. You want to get the teaching off your plate and then do the admin, grow the business with the marketing, and get more teachers because maybe you've had enough teaching, or maybe you just want to do less and get your evenings back or your weekends. Totally up to you, but admin support is one of the things you're going to need as you grow a team around you. Think about strengthening your weaknesses. That's the idea. You build a team that aren't just a bunch of, people that are just like you with your exact passions. You need to have them with skills that complement your weaknesses and the things that you may be able to do, but you actually don't like doing and you don't want to do because you want to grow other things within your business. So that might be, higher value tasks like getting more students, hiring more teachers, training the teachers up. Next, our Patriot acronym is T, which stands for teachers. So now you got to start hiring the actual teachers, and you got to think through all the details of the things that they might ask if they work for you, like how do I handle sick leave? How do I book to go on a holiday? How do I teach students? What do I do with the curriculum? All the things that you need to think through, we've laid it out for you. You got the tools, and so you can make sure when someone comes in and works for you, they're like, wow, this guy or this girl's organized. It's amazing. They've got everything that they need to feel supported and represent you, your music school or your teaching business at a high level. So next we've got, which stands for recruitment of teachers. You might say, great, that sounds amazing. I want these teachers. Where the heck am I going to find them? Well, we've got a whole section dedicated to showing you where to find them, how to bring them on board, how to do that well. So they're excited and they tell all their other musical friends to apply as well. Next in our acronym, we've got I. That stands for induction and onboarding. So once you've found the teachers, you have to actually onboard them, induct them into your teaching business. That might sound intense if it's doing it for your first time, but you've actually got to train people well, set them up to succeed. And it's just as simple as going through a checklist of things to make sure that they've got everything they need. They know everything from how to open up, how to lock up, how to file their timesheet for when they get paid, how to teach, what sort of concerts you might be doing they need to get students ready for. Everything that you need to think through is there for you to check out, and so people feel supported when they step into the role and not overwhelmed. Next we've got O, which stands for observations and performance reviews. So you can't just actually give them that training once. You have to actually check in with them, see how are they teaching, observe some lessons, give them some feedback, both positive and things they can improve on. So you just keep lifting the bar, and you want to create a culture of continual improvement. And so when you're hiring people, you're looking for people that are going to be teachable and humble, not arrogant, like they think they've got nothing to learn, because that's the wrong person. You do not want that person working for you. They'll cause a whole lot of chaos. And so how do you do an observation? Well, we've actually given you the templates for it so you can do it. We train you how to do it. You can see examples of observations I've done of teachers, and I've redacted their names, but you can see the feedback that we give, and we literally go through everything from how they greet the student, how they prepare, how the lesson was run, how they summarized at the end, how they engaged with the parent, and then other things around their job, how they're communicating with you and checking in on things that they would like to give you feedback on, etc., etc. So you want to make sure that you're giving people ongoing observations, and we'll talk about the frequency and how you should think about that as well in there. 2 more to go. T equals team building. Okay, so that is about this amazing saying, vision leaks, right? You can't just bring people on, get them excited for your vision, and just hope that that excitement stays there forever. That kind of vision that you cast and get people excited for, that slowly leaks over time if you never talk about it again. So you have to keep building your team, keep them excited about what you're doing, keep them trained, keep them moving forward, growing in their job, growing in their pay, and we show you exactly how to do that, how to handle the tough conversations you'll need to have, even if you need to fire someone one day. We cover all that. How do you build a team, which involves some pruning as well, which means getting rid of some people, hiring new ones, etc. And then Patriots, the last letter is S, and that might be something you're not ready for right yet, but it's structure and scaling your team. So one thing I'll say to you in encouragement is when I started my music school, I thought, hey, I'm just going to build Good Time Drum Academy. It was just going to be a drum school, and I thought, man, it'd be cool if we could get to 100 drummers one day. And later it grew to 60 team members and over 2,000 students. And so you might be thinking right now, well, I'm just watching this video because I want to hire my first teacher. And that's you scaling from, having a job, moving into actually building a business and hiring someone, doing an amazing thing, giving someone a job. But that is structure, right? You've actually got a little, scaling thing that's happened with your team. You're the boss. They work for you as a teacher, and you might get some admin support at some time. And then you got 3 people. And that's actually going to give you the ability to unlock and get to the next level, the next teacher, the next admin, another teacher, 5 teachers, and it can actually grow. And I just want to leave you with this. You are actually capable of doing so much more than you think. I never thought that my music teaching business would grow to what it did. And there are people all around the world in the BAM squad that are doing that. They've started off, we got, as I filmed this video, about 400 of them, and they're building music schools, and they're anywhere between sort of 30, 50 students right up to 7,000, I think our largest music school in the group is. And so people they probably, when they started out, were like you, perhaps didn't actually have the vision of, hey, I'm going to build this massive thing, but they've just put one foot in front of the other, implemented things, and it's just grown by doing the right stuff. And so if you want to get access to everything that I've given an overview for, that Patriots framework that will build a rock star team around you, it will give you every single resource you need. You can grab it for free. Click the link down below, or somewhere around this video there'll be a link for a free trial to the Build a Music School program. Jump in the library, go to module 6. Everything that I've talked about in extensive detail, templates, resources, trainings, everything that you need is in there. Go grab it for free. We hope you'll love it and you'll stick around and join our massive group of music school owners around the world in 25 plus countries. But if you want to just grab some stuff, have your one free trial, take it and leave, that's totally fine as well. We just want to be super helpful and want to see you impact more people through your music lessons, and also see you create a business that's going to help you have more freedom, income, and all the good things that you want to do in your life. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any comments, questions, leave them down below. We do listen. We do shape these videos based on things you guys say, and would love to hear from you. Otherwise, we'll see you in the BAM squad for a free trial. Can't wait to connect with you.